You are now listening to the NYYST
Podcast.
Welcome back. This is episode 217 of the NYYST podcast. I am your host, Christian, as always, joined by my co-host, Chris.
Yo.
And SGR.
What up, dude? Fitting facing the Pirates this weekend.
The whole SGR thing is really sticking, by the way. It's really catching on nicely.
It totally is, and I love it.
We got to get Ryan a jersey that says SGR on the back.
Do you do jerseys with the name on the back?
How else do you do them?
Well, it's kind of funny. I'm tinkering with a new cover art for us, and I want it to be like the back of us with jerseys that say our names on it. But I didn't know if you were okay with that because I know
I'm wearing one right now.
Okay, I thought so. I know
jerseys are okay.
Or no, jerseys are yes.
Jerseys are a no.
Okay, deal.
Where do you weigh in on the whole? You opened the can of worms, so now we gotta go.
I'm on with that. If you're wearing, all right, I'll say this: if you're wearing a Yankee jersey that has a name on the back, I hope it was a gift. Like I hope someone gifted that to you.
But I would also be offended that you know me, that you should know me better than that.
Yeah,
Right.
but that price there's a price jump
difference.
though.
and
No,
that's
there's
okay.
not. There's absolutely
not?
not. There is no
So
price
then
difference.
So then, come on, you're
Like,
being selfish.
if you get like a stitched one with the name
Right.
on the back,
But you
then-
can get the replica. You don't need to spend
Right.
$400 on a fucking baseball jersey.
Yeah, you're just selfish at that point.
I bought a Garrett Cole jersey as a Christmas present for myself, and guess how much it costs with the name versus
$45?
without the. Guess how much it costs with the name versus without the name.
$20 difference.
This is the same 60.
It's exactly the same price. You can go to Fanatics right
$64.99.
now and get a Garrett Cole jersey with the name and without the name for the
Here's why
exact
you're
same
selfish.
price.
Here's why you're selfish.
Okay.
You're not. You're assuming that everyone else around you isn't enough of a fan to know just based on the number who you're wearing, and on top of that, you are like, well, this is a fucking Aaron Judge jersey, and I don't know if you know who Aaron Judge is, but he's like the best. So I need to make sure the fucking name is on the back so everyone knows who I'm wearing right now, because you don't see the name. You're not seeing the name, so why have it? Selfish.
Okay. If that's how you feel, you feel the person is being selfish if they wear the name on the back.
Correct. In some way, it's like a narcissistic type purchase, I think.
Well, I was
I'm
talking to
kidding,
somebody.
by the way. You got to say this more often. I'm joking, guys. I just don't like the name on the back. I don't. Okay, I'm joking.
I was talking to somebody a few weeks ago, and they had bought a Carl Pavano jersey.
Okay, stop. I don't care. I don't
And
care
he's
anymore. Who
no.
buys a Carl Pavano jersey? Carl Pavano's kids don't buy Carl Pavano jerseys.
Right. So he's like, I never know what to do with it. And I was like, lucky for you, there's no name on the back. It's now a Garrett Cole jersey.
Oh, nice. Nice.
And that's
if it did have a name on the back, I could give him a few things to do with it too.
See, that's the key. If you that's another reason why you should always buy no name. Think of how many times you could have recycled a number 24 or number 25 jersey in the last X years. Tino Martinez to Robinson Cano to now, I know everybody hates him, but Gary Sanchez. Then he could have done like Teixeira, Glaber, Giambi, You put the name on the back, now it's ruined.
It's like, can't think of the word I'm looking for. Recyclable?
I just said that like literally seconds ago.
Oh, don't listen really to everything.
But if you don't want to wear Yankee gear from like 2001, lucky for you, we have some new stuff out on the shop. Chris has done an amazing job with the design on the first three shirts of the Sterling Silhouette series. We got right now on the shop Matsui, Judge, and Clint Frazier. Clint Frazier just dropped this week. And then we still have Derek Jeter and Gleyber Torres to go. Those will be opening day
Downtown
drops.
goes Frazier.
And like when we dropped the first two, it's not that I think you did a bad job with the Hideki Matsui one. It's just how much I loved the way Aaron Judge came out. And I think I like how Frazier came out even more.
Wow.
Yeah,
Frazier
I
came out
think's my
good.
faves.
We had a picture that we were using on, and it was I wasn't gonna accept any other picture at that point once you sent it, because it was just too good of like his stance. It was when he hit that massive home run with the mask on, and everyone in the media used him as like the example. Like, if Clint Frazier can hit a 500-foot home run with a mask on, you can drive with the mask on and stuff like that. Like when that whole thing started. It was that picture, but there was no high quality ones. And I'm not going to say what I did to find the picture that was finally high quality, but I did it. And the shirt ended up coming out really nicely.
You were like on the dark web.
It wasn't the dark web per se, but I did a few things.
Chris is on a few lists.
Yeah. Few lists.
So you can go to the shop. Why don't you drop the actual code, or not the code, the
NYY
link.
Sports Talk, NYYSportsTalk.com/shop. I'll say it again. NYYSportsTalk.com/shop. Now, you can do other things there too. You can actually listen to this show on our website. If you're watching on YouTube right now, please subscribe and like. But also, you can go to NYYSportsTalk.com/podcast, and you'll see like a subscribe button right on the top where it'll show you some of the places. I mean, you can find us anywhere audio wise, but it'll show like the top 4 or 5 places you can find us to subscribe audio as well. And if you're listening on iTunes, please take a second, leave us a 5-star rating and review. You guys have been friggin' awesome with the reviews lately. We really appreciate it. So leave us a 5-star rating review, subscribe to the show, and just friggin' call up one Yankee fan that you know and let them know about the show. That's how we're going to grow. Didn't mean to rhyme.
But also, when you go to shop and you want to pick up some new swag over there, NYYST30. No, it's NYYST Pod, right? That's the code. NYYST Pod.
NYYST Pod 30, I think.
You don't even know.
We don't even know. Just DM us.
If you're having trouble, I believe it's NYYST Pod. If you're having trouble with the code,
why don't we go? You guys talk and I'll find the code. Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's NYYST Pod.
Why don't you set up our first topic of discussion, and I'll find the exact code.
Hey Ryan, what do you want to talk about today?
That's it. That's how we're gonna do this. It's gonna be like a fucking.
Well, you gotta let Ryan kind of bask in his glory here. I mean, the Yankees. It's Sunday afternoon, about 4:30. Yanks just wrapped up a 4-0 win over the Phillies in a spring training. I don't even know if you can call them games anymore. There's so many weird rules. Like the managers can decide to play 5, 7, or 9 innings. There's like a mercy rule now where if the pitcher throws 20 pitches, the manager can stop the inning. They did that with Wheeler.
They consulted with the virus, and the virus negotiated and said, look, if you only do 7 innings, we'll keep you safe. But if you go any more than that, you're fucking done. Especially with people in the stands.
But anyway, the Yankees won 4-0 today. All 4 runs off the bat of one. Brett Gardner hit a grand salami.
He friggin' swagged it too. Like, you could tell he wanted to just go crazy over it, but he just like swagged it up.
He pointed in the dugout.
Came across home plate, and I guarantee you the first thing he did was shove it in Judge's face. I guarantee you.
Just imagine how many more of those I'd hit if I was 6'7".
Wow, you sound just like him, dude.
Yeah, we had him on last week, and he sang.
That was the audio.
No, it wasn't.
It is NYYST Pod, by the way.
And it saves you 30% and free shipping. I mean, really, I think that'll bring the cost down to about $21. $21 for one of those.
Uh-oh.
I was wondering who's walking in my.
You're so distracted. You're like
Squirrel,
a dog
squirrel.
yourself.
He's like that dog in Up.
Yeah.
Squirrel.
Well, dude, when a guy wearing with pulled over hoodie over his head, walks up your driveway in the middle of the afternoon. You don't take notice of that?
Hi, I'm Tom. It is
10
NYYST
seconds.
Pod.
What?
30% off, free shipping. What were you saying? You could get the shirt for like $21, right?
Yeah, I mean, wow, that's a steal right there.
Yeah, especially during COVID. Like
Steal.
all these, you go on some of these sites for like a good T-shirt. They're fucking through the roof right now.
You're right, dude. You're right.
I mean, it's definitely not like Uber Eats where I order a $9 Chipotle bowl and then it ends up costing me $17 to have it
Let me
delivered.
tell you real quick. I know some people don't like the bullshit. You know what? Skip
No,
it.
but
Then.
you know
Just
what?
skip it. But sometimes we
People
need
like
to get
the
out life stuff.
ADHD.
People
like the
they
ADHD
do.
about
But
what?
sometimes you need to get out like life stuff before you can focus on the core stuff. And I didn't realize, I always knew Uber Eats and like DoorDash were more expensive. I got that.
I did a show sheet today, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
So we're gonna be more structured than normal.
I know, but we got to just get this out. I didn't realize how bad it was. So someone I know was ordering an egg salad sandwich, right? She never did it on DoorDash before. She usually goes and picks it up, and it's like $5. They were gonna charge her $18 on DoorDash.
I was gonna say, what was it, $18.50?
$18. That's fucking crazy.
Well,
That's
you
insane.
got to get the delivery fee, then the service fee, plus you got a tip on top of it.
I gotta say,
tax.
out of all the
Inconvenience fee.
out of all the different technologies,
You're a lazy fuck fee.
Yeah, lazy, right.
Yeah, you got the lazy fee.
That's
Data
that's
fee.
an appropriate
Okay,
fee.
5G fee.
Out of all the different technologies that came up in the last 10 years, I'd say that this has been the quickest to go. Like if you think back just a handful of years ago, remember like having to call restaurants to place an order? You don't even have to do that anymore. Do you remember the times like not too long ago where only the restaurants that offered delivery could actually fucking deliver?
Now they
you
take a
get
picture
McDonald's.
when it's
Forget it.
outside.
Forget it.
You don't have to see anyone.
It's crazy.
Your hamburger's over here next to your ashtray. Is that okay?
Yeah, I hit it underneath your tray.
I put it underneath your tray, dude.
Unreal.
So yeah, go to NYYST, whatever the fuck. Just go to
NYYSportstalk.com/shop.
Christ.
Use code NYYSTPod to save 30% off your entire order. It doesn't even have to be on just those shirts. We have a bunch of different shirts up there, a lot of merch, and
the hoodies are coming soon, right?
Hoodies are coming soon.
I know
30
I know we're hoping to be out of hoodie season soon, but I still think the hoodies are gonna fly off the shelves, as they say.
30% off and free shipping.
Yeah.
And you know what about the hoodies though?
What?
If you're going to any games in April and or even early May, really a night game,
Then we need to
it
offer
gets
parkas.
it gets fucking cold, dude.
No, we need to offer parkas then.
Yeah. Remember that? That was me and you, right?
The women were there also. I don't refer to them as people, just women.
Oh, right. You're a bully.
Is Eminem Eminem?
Eminem's canceled, dude. You're not allowed to say him on podcasts anymore.
Look, all I'm going to say about that is the hypocrisy of the people that do the canceling. When he was taking shots at the former president of the United States of America.
It's so crazy. Wait, hold on. No, just think of this. I'm glad you brought this up, and I promise this will be my last fucking thing I bring up. But they're canceling him over a line just because it's a more relevant song, like over the last 5-6 years. All I'll tell you is if you agree with him being canceled on that line, just do yourself a favor. Do yourself a favor. Go on Apple Music, whatever you listen to, Spotify, and just listen to Role Model.
How about Kim?
That's the worst of it. But Role Model, just get through the song and tell me how many different things are 10 times worse than what they're canceling him for. And Role Model's his best song, I think.
But all I'm saying, is now that we have a new president and we don't need Eminem to tear down the former president. Now it's like, okay, now we're gonna look back into his music catalog.
Yeah, it's all about how important they are at the time.
And dude, when I saw that it was the Rihanna song, I was like, "Are you serious?"
Yeah.
I've been listening to Eminem since like 1998. The dude literally wrote an entire song about murdering his wife.
Literally, it's called Bonnie and Clyde. Listen to it. Like literally, it's about that. Okay.
No, but Eminem triggered in my brain because he did write a song called "Bully."
Did
about
he?
how he got.
I hate
or
Eminem's
yeah,
new shit. Like
Bully.
his first
He's a
3
bully.
albums, in my opinion, are the 3 best rap albums ever made. But after
I
that,
give
he's awful.
most artists like 4 albums tops, and then after that, it's just trash.
Yeah, yeah. Except Chris Stapleton, he's friggin' phenomenal.
Oh, he's not canceled yet.
No, not yet. All right, let's get to Yankee shit. We've been
Give
bullshitting
give
for 15 minutes
give him a minute. He'll be canceled.
soon.
All right. Anyway, so Guardy with the grand slammer today. Yankees win 4-0. We keep bringing it up, man, and I just wanted to say it again because I think it's so true. Like, there's just a different feeling with the Yankees now that Guardy's back.
Yeah, when he hit that home run today, I don't get excited over
Right.
anything in
I
spring
was so
training.
happy for him.
And you know what I said? It came out of my mouth. I didn't even just think it. I actually said it out loud. I am so fucking happy they got this guy back. I'm so happy he's here this year.
And they even said it on the broadcast. Guardy being a significant contributor to this team this year doesn't mean he's the starting left fielder. It just means that he's going to get a significant amount of playing time.
Well, you don't even think about it,
Yeah.
but we talk about how important it is for the Yankees to have a pretty strong bench this year and guys who can come off the bench and do some damage. Guardy is actually that guy. I mean, Guardy, think about, he's still fast. It's not like he lost speed. He's still fast. He can come in off the bench defensively. He can come in to pinch run. He can come in to lay down a bunt. He can come in to friggin' hit a home run. He can come in to poke one into down the line. I mean, he's a guy who's going to be deadly off the bench.
Right.
And you hope that's where he stays. I mean, we love Guardy to death, but if he's starting in the outfield, it either means someone sucks or more likely someone's hurt.
Yeah, but we broke it down a few weeks ago. Even if everybody's healthy, he's still going to start 90 to 100
Yes.
games this year.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm cool with that as long as they're not relying on him to be one of the 3 outfielders every single day.
All right, so we got a little bit of breaking news on Wednesday, I guess it was, and it was kind of shocking when we heard the news that Aaron Boone was in the hospital. He was undergoing a procedure to have a pacemaker put in. Apparently, he's fine. He's fine. He was back in managing yesterday, but it was still kind of shocking that it just kind of came out of nowhere. It's something that he had kind of forgotten about, but I remember hearing about it, that Boone had open heart surgery in 2009 while he was still playing. I believe he was with the Astros in 2009. So
I have
Boone
a
had
question for you. I don't know if you'll know the answer to this, but they reported it as an emergency leave of absence because of the surgery.
yeah, they made it seem like he was dying.
Well, no,
the way
no.
They
Not
worded
ju-
it.
not just
Immediate
that.
medical leave of absence.
Well, here's my take on it because a pacemaker surgery. I mean, anytime they're operating with anything to do with your heart, it's a serious surgery. I don't care how quickly it's done or how quickly you recover. It's always serious. So I'm not downplaying the actual surgery itself, but it's a procedure that they do very efficiently now, and it has a quick turnaround time. So when I heard them say emergency leave, I was like, yeah, but then he gave like a press conference, or he at least talked to the media, and it seemed like it was planned within the Yankee organization for a while. Like it seemed like they knew, because before spring training he said he was feeling dizzy, but all the reports came back okay. But it seemed like he knew about this for at least a week or so, that this was going to be happening, and they just didn't want to release anything until he actually had to go into surgery. So the whole emergency leave thing, I think, was also what made us think this was more.
I don't think
did
they used the word emergency, or was it more like
when
they said?
well, not the Yankees per se, but I'm saying I was listening to the Fan when it was reported, and
so the
and
media
he was he was reading a statement, so I don't know who exactly it came from, but it said emergency leave.
Okay, so here, okay, so Aaron Boone, okay,
This
so
information,
pacemaker.
man.
Has Mike ever had a pacemaker put in?
I don't know. I didn't follow up on his medical history, but anyway, so Boone had open heart surgery in 2009, and then, like you said, he had been complaining about dizziness, fatigue, all those, a lot of different things. They ran some tests, and something wrong with obviously there was something wrong with the rhythm of the heart, so they decided to put the pacemaker in. And then He was back in his office on Friday. I think he had the surgery on Wednesday. He was back in his office on Friday getting COVID tested so he can manage the team on Saturday, which was amazing to me because they didn't want Garrett Cole traveling. He was supposed to start Saturday. They didn't want Garrett Cole traveling because of the weather. So they kept him back. He threw a bullpen or a simulated game, I forget which one, in Tampa Saturday morning. And then the Yankees traveled to face the Pirates Saturday. So Boone was back in the dugout managing on Saturday, which, I mean, what is it, 2-3 days he was actually out. To me, we've been kind of on Boone's case. First of all, when just take you through the evolution of Aaron Boone. I remember back when we used to have Chris Corelli on regularly. Chris Corelli is I think he's running a chain of gyms down in North Carolina now, but when he used to work for SNY, we used to have him on a show regularly. And I remember having him on that like the day or the next show we recorded after the Yankees had hired Boone. And I remember saying that out of all the guys that were like on the list, like the finalists, like Boone was the one guy I didn't want.
Yeah, me too.
And then I kind of fell in love with Boone, and we coined the term Booner for Boone.
That's gonna be a shirt.
Yeah,
for sure.
You're gonna walk around your neighborhood with that.
Booner for Boone. I would.
Mm-hmm.
Think about some of these. Think about some of these fucking shirts out there, dude.
You know what we should do? We should find a good charity. We should sell Booner for Boone shirts and donate the money to a good charity.
Okay.
And that should be easy. And that should be easy for you to come up with. It's just a simple design.
Yeah, for sure.
And we'll come up with.
There will be no penis on the actual shirt.
No, but we'll look up to a good charity to donate to, especially since this is Boone, maybe to like, somebody that studies heart disease or something like that. But we'll talk about that more off the air. Yeah. But I think that's a good idea. We can
absolutely.
Work on that.
Good idea.
Maybe he worked. I don't know if you just said this, but I was thinking as you were talking at the end, maybe he has a charity that he's like, or like a cause that he's works with, and we can look into.
Yeah, we can look into that. So that's something we'll work on after we're done with the show here. But then, like we said, Booner for Boone, we fell in love with Boone. We liked the way that he handled himself, how he had the respect of his players. And then, then we started questioning. We didn't win in 18. We didn't win in 19. We didn't win in 20. And we were starting to question, is Boone the guy for the job? And after what happened this week, I want this guy to win so bad now, man. I want this guy to win. And it's not that of course I want the Yankees to win, but I want Aaron Boone to win a World Series as the manager of the New York Yankees. Dude, this guy going through the health problems that he had, and you can say, oh, the pacemaker is not a big deal. Anytime they cut you open and start tinkering with your heart, it's a big deal.
Yep.
Any little slip up, and that guy's 6 feet under. I don't care what anybody says. You can have the most experienced doctor in the world perform 1,000 of these things. Guys, you're fucking around with a dude's heart. Don't tell me that it's no big deal. Okay.
Oh, sure.
So anyway, and the guy is back in the dugout in 2 days, managing a bullshit preseason game when it's fucking raining out, and it's not even in Tampa. He had to get on a bus and go fucking manage that game. So that guy, he earned, he earned my fucking, not that I never didn't respect Aaron Boone, but dude, my respect for Aaron Boone just went to another level.
It's a different respect. And it's more like you respected the guy as a baseball guy. You respected the guy and how he handled his job and how he handled the clubhouse and how he handled the media. But you never really had that respect of how much he cares about this team, because that's something that's assumed, right? You have this job, it's important to you, you take a lot of time away from your family, and that's just assumed. But until you have a fucking pacemaker put in and you're back in 2 days taking COVID tests just so you could manage a spring training game in the rain, you don't really have anything to quantify how much this job means to him. And now you do. And that changes your respect for him completely, regardless of how you feel about him as a manager. Your respect for him as a guy who cares about his job and wants to give 100%. And here's what I'll say. I'm not saying you can't criticize Boone all year, obviously. All right. He's a manager. He's going to make stupid fucking decisions and he deserves to be criticized on those. That's part of his job also. But anyone who's giving me an irrational fucking argument on Aaron Boone, I'm going to tell that person how fucking irrational they are. And then I'm going to compare him to Aaron Boone. Because I'm going to say Aaron Boone's irrational for thinking he needed to come back in 2 fucking days to be part of this fucking team and manage during a spring training game in the rain. That's the guy that you're being irrational over. Who would you rather be, the douchebag on Twitter or the guy who actually respects his fucking job?
Right.
Don't fuck with Aaron Boone. That's all I'm going to say.
That wanted to be there so bad to get this team in the position it needs to be, that if he would have called up Brian Cashman on Thursday when he was recovering in the hospital and said, "You fucking jerk," and
Hey,
said,
Aaron, how you feeling? How you feeling, Aaron?
And Boone says to Cash, "Yeah, I'm all right, but I think maybe take a week, 10 days, see how my body reacts, blah blah blah." What's Brian Cashman gonna say? Okay, fine. Like, yeah, take your time, bro.
Yeah.
Like, no one's gonna rush Aaron Boone back, but literally almost the next day he's in his office getting COVID tested so he can go back to work.
Yeah, and then you take into account, like, and again, I'm not knocking players who decided not to play last year or whatever. Everything's a personal thing, but there's certain guys out there that their intentions. And I won't say any names. I won't be that guy. But
I'll be that guy, Marcus Stroman.
Okay, Marcus Stroman, douche. There's guys like Marcus Stroman that it was just clearly the wrong intention of why he wasn't playing last year.
Oh, you mean to tell me that it wasn't a coincidence that he opted out after he had enough service time to hit free agency?
Exactly. So
and that he's so scared of COVID that he was in a group of people either today or yesterday with no mask on.
Right. Exactly.
That Marcus Stroman.
That
right?
Marcus Stroman.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So don't sit here and say I'm saying that based off of no facts. No, we have some facts on why it seems his intentions were those ways. And you take a guy like that, and then you take a guy like Aaron Boone, who friggin' didn't have to do this. On top of everything else, COVID's still out there. So that puts him at an even higher risk now. And he still did it. Because why? Because this is his job. This is what he loves. This is what he's passionate about. And I'm not saying that I wouldn't want the Yankees to win if they didn't have a manager like that. But like you said, Christian, now I want it for us, for the team. But most importantly now, fucking Aaron Boone. I want that guy to have a fucking ring.
He deserves it. Honestly, my respect level and my admiration for this guy just went through a whole nother level. And you can say, "Oh, you're being an overreaction." It was a fuck you. It's not an overreaction. The guy could have easily taken a week, 2 weeks to sit and relax and see how his body felt. I don't care what no doctor would have said, "No, Aaron, you have to go back to work the next day." And Brian Cashman, Randy Levine, Hal Steinbrenner, nobody would have said, "No, Aaron, you have to be at work the next day." Yep. They would have given him as much time as he needed, especially at this point in the year. No one would have said 2 words to this guy, but the fact that he wanted to go back to work literally almost the next day, how can you ever have a cross word to say about Aaron Boone? Yeah, right. He's going to make mistakes this year. He's going to pull Garrett Cole maybe a batter too early, and then the next day he might pull Jameson Taillon a batter too late, and it might cost the Yankees a fucking game. Yeah, you can get on him for that shit. But, dude, the fact that this guy wants to
don't question his intentions is what we're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes there's guys that have jobs, and then there's guys that you can see they want the job that they have. And Aaron Boone, and not that he really ever needed to prove it to me, but it just solidified the fact that he wants to be the manager of the Yankees.
Well, I think if you go back to like when he was getting hired and when we questioned it, the one thing we always heard was like he just won the Yankees over. He's the guy for the job. He's the one who wants to be here, who wants to see this team, who wants to be in charge of this team and lead them to championship. And again, we knew all that, but until you have a situation where you can really like make that a tangible thing, you don't realize how badly this guy wants his job and cares about his job until shit like that happens.
right? If you got your chest cut open, Chris, and you're back to work the
Okay,
next day,
you
don't
could
you
s-
think you're
no, 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 you
don't you
could
think
s-
your wife is gonna
Chris,
say something to you too?
I could have a fucking ingrown hair pulled surgically, and I'd be out of work for 3 weeks. I'd be like, they put me under anesthesia, they cut me open, I'm still sick from it, and I'd be out for 3 weeks. If I had open heart surgery, forget it. I'd probably look for fucking not open heart surgery, but he did have open heart surgery.
Yeah,
At
no
one
nine.
point,
But
Yeah.
if I had a pacemaker put in, forget it. I'd be done. Let alone go back during COVID in a spring training game in the rain.
So we're all glad that Aaron Boone seems to be doing well. He's back managing the club, and like we said, man, I just I really hope that the Yankees get it done this year. This way, there's no doubts that Aaron Boone will go down in history as a World Series winning manager of this club, because I really think, especially after the events of this week, the guy fucking deserves it.
Yeah, and I'll say this one last time because the season's approaching quicker than we know. There's something about this team that I haven't felt in a really long time. And I don't even know why I feel it.
Because you had
Because
COVID and your brain's all
yeah,
fucked
maybe
up.
I do have COVID brain still.
Right. That could be it. That could be it.
But like I really can't put my finger on it. And a lot of it had to do with the Gardner signing and just feeling that was the last thing like to make this team. I'm not saying other moves aren't going to be made or might need to be made, but there is something about this team that when I envision this season, I envision a championship team. And I can't explain it, but I think this is finally the fucking year. I really do.
Right, and it's because some goes to what I said maybe last week or 2 weeks ago, is that it might be this blind optimism that in the back of your mind, this is kind of all or nothing now. Like this could be it for this team, this kind of regime if they don't get it done. So we're putting all our eggs in the basket. Um, so we we're glad Boone's doing well. Hopefully, the Yankees don't cause him any other heartaches this year. It's a 1998 style run through the American League in the World Series. That would be fucking nice,
Yeah.
wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So maybe a guy that doesn't deserve, not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because we have to cover it.
Because it's true.
Maybe there's a guy on this team that doesn't deserve a World Series ring, and that's Domingo Herman, who made his spring debut a couple days ago. I forget what day it is, but he pitched 2 innings, struck out 4 guys, no runs allowed, and there you go. That's the guy. That's Domingo Herman. That's the stuff that makes him such a valuable part of this team, and he's going to contribute if he's healthy and pitches like the way we've seen him pitch in the past. He's going to contribute to a lot of wins this year.
I think before we go into all of that, we have to be fair. And you read me something that we did not know when we were going off on our rant of why the Yankees would keep this guy around. We were unaware of this, I guess, rule you can call it, or regulation put in through the players union or whatever, with domestic violence or disturbance, whatever you want to, whichever one. And it was, what was it, Christian? You had it. They couldn't release him, correct?
Well, I'm going to give credit to our boy at Medic968. I reached out to him because I actually saw him tweet it. He sent me the actual rule. And of course, it's all written in lawyer bullshit and not like actual like English, like where it says you cannot do this because of this. It's all like a player shall forth not hence this, because once the skies open up in legal jargon, blah, 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 So basically, if I'm reading the rule correctly, and people that have mentioned it have also heard it correctly, that you cannot, once the player's been disciplined, you cannot release the player for the domestic violence incident. He has to be he can only be released for baseball related, for baseball, something baseball related, like if he sucks or.
Did it say that this is unique to domestic violence?
Yeah,
I just don't understand it. I don't understand.
I have to send it to you again. I'm gonna admit that this is way over my head, the language in it, because like
I'll read it.
oh, you're a lawyer now.
I'm pretty much a lawyer now. Yeah.
Because last week you were a doctor, now you're a lawyer.
Doctor, lawyer, psychologist is really
So that's your area of expertise.
yes.
All right, so I'll send it to you. I might have sent it to you, but I'll resend it in a little bit. So basically, if I'm understanding it correctly, the Yankees can't just get rid of Domingo Herman because he smacked his girlfriend. He was suspended. He paid his penalty. So now they can only get rid of him because he's not good at baseball. So, I mean, again, if you're hoping that he goes out there and has 3 or 4 outings where he's just awful and he gets released because of that, I guess that's the only way the Yankees are uh, going to get out of this. So it looks like he's here. I guess we have to just take it at face value that he is here. And again, it's like I keep saying, and I tweeted earlier in the week, it's just going to be one of these things that you're going to be uncomfortable with this year. You know what he did. There's a lot of detail about it. But at the end of the day, you're going to root for the Yankees to win, and you're not always going to root for the guy in the laundry. You're going to root for the laundry.
Yeah, and you kind of said this, and it's not like you'd be rooting for Herman to fail, because you're a Yankee fan. But I mean, best case scenario at this point, if you're someone who wants Herman gone and you don't want to look at him, you know, he has a few rough outings right off the bat in games that really aren't too important, and they fucking cut ties. See ya. You know. But you hope. For me personally, I don't know if I'll forgive him as a fan because I don't know the guy. I think if you're going to forgive someone for doing what he did, you got to know him and genuinely see that he's a better person and it wouldn't happen again and so on and so forth. As a fan, I'll never get to that point, but maybe his teammates will, and if they're willing to accept that and give him a second chance, then you know it is what it is.
Well, we'll go back to what Luke Voigt said a couple weeks ago. He said we you know we're his teammates, we have his back, but we want him to know that he's on thin ice and he's got to basically straighten up his life.
And I think that's a great statement. I really do. I think how Voigt handled that statement he gave was spot on.
So again, like I really hope like this is the last time we have to talk about Domingo Herman, the spousal abuser, and then we can just focus in on baseball. It's not it's not that we want to ignore it or pretend it didn't happen. You guys have your fucking stupid bullshit narratives about how we may feel about women, and it's all garbage, and everybody knows that. So I don't want to come off as somebody that condones this because we don't condone it. But at some point, you just got to you just have to take it for what it is and understand that he's on the team, and you just have to cover him as a baseball player.
Okay.
And it's not like, oh, Domingo Herman, the wife beater, pitched today. It's just going to be like, we'll just cover Domingo Herman start when we have to talk about it,
Look, everyone just always wants to like get their hands on things and change the world. But holding Domingo Herman responsible for his actions is not our responsibility. It is the responsibility of other people close to him. And if his girlfriend is willing to give him a second chance and stay with him, if the Yankees, and I know there's that rule in place, but if the team itself are willing to accept his apology and see that he's a better person and move on from it, then those are really the only two things that as a fan we need to look at this point. And it's not our responsibility to hold him accountable for those actions. It doesn't mean you have to like him or like what he did. I'll never like him or like what he did, and I'll never accept it. But it's not our responsibility to sit here and try and change him or get him off this team. Your responsibility as a fan is to support this team, good and bad, no matter what, and hope they win every single time they take the field. That's it.
Right. Do me a favor, because you found the website. Does Domingo Herman have options?
Probably not. I don't think he was one of those guys on that list.
But and to a larger point, why I wanted to bring up Domingo Herman again is because when he pitched, I put out a tweet, basically saying that it's going to be an uncomfortable position, kind of having to root for this guy because you want the Yankees to win, whatever, paraphrasing my tweet. And, you get people in the comments, well, what about Chapman? What the fuck about Aroldis Chapman? This is one of the things that annoys me about social media. You can't just make a statement. It's always got to be, well, what about this? You don't have to always be like, well, Domingo Herman's a bad guy. I don't want him here. So that means I don't want Aroldis Chapman here either. So let me make that point also in every tweet that I make. We look, we said it numerous times in the show, whatever you want to believe about the night in question, there's several different reports. He choked her. She hit him first. He was just trying to get her out of the way so he could leave and de-escalate. Whatever you want to believe happened that night, right? That's up to you. But the facts of what we know to be the facts are he was in a fight with his girl, got so enraged that he fucking shot a gun off in his house or garage, whatever. That's not a stable person.
No.
So that's not a guy I really want on the Yankees. So if I had my druthers and could get, no, I wouldn't want to roll this Chapman on this team. And then people always want to get you in a gotcha moment, like, oh, you're okay with Chapman beating his girlfriend because he's the closer, and he's more important. You're only making a stand because Domingo Germán would probably be the fifth starter. No, neither situation is okay. I'm not okay with either situation. And you're not going to get me in anything. I've said numerous times that, fucking, whether or not, whatever the level of physical altercation was that night, he still did something that no sane person would go and do.
Domingo Germán is not out of options.
Wow.
He's got one option left.
So this is a way for the Yankees to get out of this whole thing. They could let him go and rot in Scranton this year and just be like, hey, well, he hasn't pitched in a year and a half. We figured he needs to knock the rust off a little bit.
And then
that's the way they could get out of it.
And then next year it becomes when they're out of options, can they still try and send them down, but they have to accept
they would have to designate him for assignment
and then get him back if no one took him, and then he would have to accept his.
He doesn't have to accept the assignment. He can go to.
That's
free
what I'm
agency.
saying. He either has to accept it or go to free agency.
Right. I mean, that is a way out for the Yankees, but honestly, I don't see them taking that route because I think they're also willing to put this behind them at this point. Because, Chris, whether we like it or not, Ryan, whether we like it or not, we know the type of pitcher Domingo Germán is. We know the value he brings to this team. I think the team is now leaning towards him being more of a starter. Me personally, I want him more in the bullpen role. Either way, he's still a very valuable arm to this team.
I think it's all going to come down to what Davy Garcia does and how they view Davy Garcia.
Hearing Matt Blake talk today, it almost seems more like they're going to start the season with Davy in Scranton. That's the feeling I got.
I don't really like that, to be honest.
I don't really like it either, but they already pushed the AAA season back another month, so they won't be starting in April. They'll be starting in May sometime. So, Davy's sitting. Davy's going to be on an innings limit anyway. So,
do you think it's and I don't want to go like too much more into Germán and shit, because we still have a lot to get to, but do you think it's fucked up that if they were to send Davy down and put Germán into the rotation with Germán having an option left, like, don't you think the kid deserves to start up here? And I guess if they're going to do it, it's coming from like a standpoint of he's just not ready. They don't feel, but like it's not like he just pitched a couple innings last year. I mean, the kid got his feet wet. I think he's ready to see if he can prove himself right now.
Right. Personally, I want him in the rotation to start the season, but I get it if you don't think that he should be up here right away, especially with the fact that he's going to be on an innings limit. And it is kind of, if you take it from that perspective, that he would be in AAA and Germán's on the major league team, considering what Germán did. It's, you're rooting for Davy Garcia. That's not something that you're really looking forward to.
Yeah.
So yeah, like to finish up that point, really realistically, you'd like 26 guys that are upstanding citizens that go and, donate their time to hospitals and help old ladies cross the street and fight against injustices in the world. But You know that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen in any business that you're in. You're not going to have an entire crew of people that are the most righteous people.
Eh,
So,
You know,
so yeah, it's
for me
not
though,
fault
like
for me. Go ahead.
I'm just gonna say this real quick. I don't give a fuck, right? I don't give a fuck whether you do any of those things, right? Those are bonuses. Those are the things that make you fall in love with a player. But on the surface, I don't give a fuck. I'm rooting for the Yankees. I'm not rooting for a player. I'm rooting for my team to win the World Series. And when you see guys do those things, like when we went to the stadium and we talked to Britain, and Britain took the bracelet we had for the girl who passed away or took her own life, and he said, "I'm going to wear this in my my back pocket when I pitch." And we were like, "Okay, sure." And then you see a slow motion replay, and you see the outline of the bracelet. I was like, you know what? It gave me a different respect for that guy. But if that didn't happen, I would still root for the Yankees. As fans, we don't have to, we need to root for the team. And it's those things that make us either love or hate a player. And what Herman did makes me hate him. Okay. Everyone should fucking hate him. But that doesn't mean that we can't root for this fucking team. That's our job as fans.
Right. And just to put a bow on the Chapman thing, it's not false outrage, because that's the whole reason why I don't want to bring it up. It's not false outrage because, oh, the closer's more important than Herman, so you don't care. It's not false outrage. I would prefer not to have either guy, but they're both here. And as long as they're here, they gotta, you want them. They gotta help the Yankees win. That's just the bottom line. As shitty as it is to say, you know, we've seen Chapman end the season 2 out of the last 3 years. Right? Was it in last 2 years, 19 and 20? The final blow against the Yankees was a home run that Aroldis Chapman gave up. Guess what? He's still here.
Yeah.
So I mean, would you rather him continue to give up season-ending home runs, or
it wasn't
down
a walk-off this year, but it was
Right.
the winning blow. Yeah.
Right. So would you rather him continue to give up
Wow.
season-ending home runs,
Bruce,
or what are you doing over there?
Brasso.
Yeah. So like I was saying, like, would you rather him continue to give up season-ending home runs, or or be on the mound for the final out of the World Series? I mean, this is what we're looking at right here. And no one's gonna, and we're not gonna sit there and say, oh, Aroldis Chapman's such a saint. No, he's a fucking maniac, and it is what it is, though. So I don't know how else to fucking say it at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it is what it is. I hate saying it, but it is what it is, right?
Es
It
lo
is-
que es.
It is what it is. You root for your team. Here's what we care about. Ready? Yankees winning a fucking World Series. That's it. And you know what? I'm glad you just brought that up. Another guy I want to see one more World Series. I want him to see one more World Series, John Sterling. Because
Yeah,
you
hell
know
yeah.
that day's coming where he's not going to show up to the ballpark
All right,
anymore.
let's not get bleak here.
All right?
All right.
I'm just saying, man. I want one
John?
more for Sterling.
All right.
Do it
So
for John.
I think so. As we've talked about numerous times on this show here, the Yankees' real battles in spring right now are who's going to fill out the bench. I think if you just take out Higashioka, who's going to be
Why are
the
you getting
backup
so
catcher.
close to the mic? It's
I gotta
like
sc-
It's
I
like
scratch
my
my-
ears are
Scratch my
exploding.
leg, you fucking jerk.
Oh yeah, your leg
Yeah.
or your balls.
Anyway, so the Yankees' real battles here seem to be on the bench. Who's going to fill out the bench? Like we said, you're probably going to take Higgy out of the equation. He's going to be the backup catcher to Robinson Chirinos, right? Not Gary Sanchez.
He's a
isn't making
starter,
this
yeah.
team. So,
Duh.
so a guy that really intrigues, and we know Guardy's going to be there. So I think really you're looking at to try to fill 2 spots. Because I think the Yankees are still going to take, they're probably still going to take 13 pitchers. So 13 position players, 13 pitchers. So you're looking at really 2 open spots. Now, you really, if you ask me, I think Tyler Wade's got a good lock on one of those spots. I know fans are in love with Derek Dietrich right now, but I'm going to call him Diet Rich because that's how you spell his name, like a knockoff cola that you buy at Walmart, Diet Rich.
What's the one
Yeah.
Cole I'm thinking of?
RC?
RC. Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah,
And
you're
look,
welcome,
he's a
brother.
very versatile guy. Plays outfield, plays a couple infield positions. Left-handed, got pop. He also looks
Pop.
like he's trying to get in that Grease revival. He's got the slick back, black hair, thinking he's Danny Zuko.
Cute.
So, but here's the one position Derek Diet Rich doesn't play. Do you want to know the one position he doesn't play?
Oh,
That's a
before you say it, I'm just
What
gonna
is it? Yeah,
assume
it's
it's one of those positions you can just
is it a
throw him there
position,
anyway,
the
even though
great
he's
Derek
never
Jeter?
played there before. I'll say
Derek
first
Jeter
base.
play there?
No. He doesn't play shortstop.
See, I knew it was something about Derek Jeter.
So this team doesn't have a backup shortstop if they don't take Tyler Wade.
Yeah, they need
And I
him.
think,
and
and
they
that's
love
where
Wade defensively too. On top of that,
right. And Wade can play third. Wade basically can play 3 of the 4 infield positions, and anybody would
So
with 2 feet,
versatile.
anybody with 2 feet can play first base. So he probably play all of them.
it's an
We've seen-
arbitrary position. It
We've
does not
seen him
matter.
play. He can, in a pinch, he could play left field. So he's
Oh,
very
yeah.
versatile, right? We know that about
Pinch me.
him. The problem with Diet Rich is that he doesn't play shortstop. And it's not, and I know Chris doesn't want to hear, and we'll talk about this in a quick sec. He doesn't want to hear that anybody can play first base. But really, in reality, not anybody can just play shortstop.
Oh, 100%. I'm not saying that.
You
I
can't
agree
just
with that.
I would look, I'm not totally against what you're saying. I don't think you just throw anybody over at first base. Oh, we have nowhere to put him at first base. I don't know. I don't agree with that, but I'm more open to doing it there. You can't just say, oh, we don't have anybody to stick there. We'll stick this guy at shortstop. You need somebody that knows how to play shortstop at shortstop.
Yes. Yeah, that's 100%.
And Gio Urshela, and I know a lot of fans are saying, oh, well, Gio can do it. Let me go to the videotape here. All right. Gio Urshela.
And while you do that, let me just say, raise your hand if you remember why the Yankees I forget what year it was, 2017 regular season almost completely fell apart. That was when, or maybe it was 2016. I can't even remember when Chris Carter.
Yeah, no, that was 2017.
Missed the throw over from CC, and then CC friggin' got hurt.
Right. So
and the whole season fell apart.
So
Mhm.
Giovanni Urshela, who's also working his way back from an injury himself, right? So now we want to do this on top of this. Has played 13 games at shortstop in his career, none since 2018. But to the fans, we can just stick him at shortstop.
Yes, for sure. All right. Out of all the positions, I know I joke, but out of all the positions in the infield, at least, first base is obviously one of those positions where if a guy's a competent enough fielder, he can learn the position fairly quickly and the footwork and all that and certain situations. As a shortstop, you don't just learn that overnight. You barely learn it if you've done it your whole life. Most
Look at
guys
Gleyber Torres.
Most guys can't. Right.
Yeah.
We're looking at Gleyber Torres, who has been a shortstop his whole life, and he's still criticized as really not being that good. Right. And he's a talented baseball player. We're not talking about some Joe Schmo who was a walk-on in college and got drafted in one of the last rounds of the draft. Okay. We're talking
Plus-
about a guy who was one of the top prospects in baseball. And he still isn't that great at shortstop.
Mhm. And if you compare the two positions, first base and shortstop, as far as what you'd fill your bench with, you might stick a first baseman on your bench that is subpar defensively, but you wouldn't do that with the shortstop position. You'd rather have a solid defender on your bench to come in those later innings or when, your shortstop has a day off.
Sure, because I mean the corner positions are more offensive positions than defensive
Right.
positions. So usually your bench guys, you're going to have at least one as a first baseman.
I know a lot of fans are kind of over Tyler Wade, and I kind of am too. Sorry, Brian.
Yeah.
Ryan's
But-
under
It's
him.
fine. It's fine.
I still think that he's going to have a spot on his team this year because
no,
he plays shortstop.
I don't think it's even a question. I really don't. I think Tyler Wade has earned his spot on the bench here. You can sit there and say,
By
"Oh,
default.
great, you've earned a bench spot. Good for you." No, that's important because Tyler Wade is not a starting Major League Baseball player anywhere.
Tyler Wade is
So-
not a starting pitcher.
He's earned his spot here, and he performs his role very well. The Yankees use him very well when they have a healthy team and he's on the bench. And I think they like Tyler Wade because he's reliable in the roles that they need him for late in games or in certain situations. And I think he's earned that.
All right, so Derek Dietrich has played 0 games at catcher in his career. So sorry, Gary Sanchez haters. He's not taking Gary's job. Okay. He's played 88 at first, 253 at second, 149 at third, 172 in left, and 172 total games in the outfield, none in center. Guess what other position he's never played an inning in the major leagues? That would be shortstop. That is why he won't be on this team this year. Plain and simple. If you're, look, sometimes I just make statements and people are like, well, who are you? Well, this is the podcast that I'm on, and we've been going 5 seasons and 217 episodes strong, and so I'm allowed to have a fucking opinion. And because of that, I don't see Derek Dietrich making this team this year because he doesn't play shortstop. If he had even played 10 games and they were within the last 2 seasons, I could say, okay, the left-handed pop. He's versatile. He plays left field. He plays second, short, blah, blah, everything. He's going to get the nod over Tyler Wade just because he's a much more competent offensive player, but he's never played shortstop. And that's where Tyler Wade is going to win this positional battle, if you want to say it that. So now we're looking at Gardy. We're looking at Higgy. We're looking at
Tyler Wade.
Would anybody disagree with that right now?
No, and I'll say
No.
this just to go on top of your point here. People think that you're filling your bench with, it's like your 9 starters, right, are your best 9, and then your 4 guys on your bench are your best 4 bench player, next 4 best guys. That's not how a bench works.
No,
If that were the case, then maybe Dietrich would make the team. But your bench doesn't work that way. Your bench needs to be guys who can come off the bench at any time and any day during any game and produce, right? And produce for your team effectively. If he's not a shortstop, that's the one place that we really need a guy. So you just can't have it. You need Tyler Wade there.
And I don't like the idea of having one of my starting players be a backup for another position. That's why I don't like DJ LeMahieu is my second baseman. Can he fill in other spots? Sure, but I don't want to have to rely on DJ LeMahieu to play third or play first base when Luke Voigt needs a day or if Gio Urshela needs a day. Because what if DJ LeMahieu also needs a day? You need to have a backup for DJ LeMahieu, not to have and have a backup for Luke Voigt, not have DJ LeMahieu be Luke Voigt's backup. You guys understand what I'm saying?
Yes, and to that point too, like you're gonna carry a catcher. Obviously, some teams carry 2, right? That's just something you do. Normally, if they're gonna carry 3 catchers, one of those catchers also has some time at first base as well. But you're always gonna carry at least one catcher, obviously. But other than that, your other guys are usually guys who are pretty versatile, right? Like if Judge, God forbid, goes down, you can friggin' stick Frazier there or Gardy or whatever, right? And then if if one of the infielders goes down, the middle infielders, Tyler Wade can play either one. Or if a guy needs a day, Tyler Wade doesn't just have to be a shortstop. And
right.
you need that.
You need versatility on your bench.
You definitely do.
Obviously, your catcher is going to be your catcher. Look at my backup outfielder. Gardy can play all 3 outfield positions.
Mm-hmm.
Look at my backup infielder. He plays every infield position. He could probably be stuck at first base in a pinch, and he can give me some time in left field if I was in that big of an emergency. So yeah, Tyler Wade is going to be on this team. So who is the last man standing, so to speak? Who's going to make the team as the last bench player? Is it this guy right? Is it this guy right here?
No, it is not. Homer Simpson, aka Mike Ford. And if it is, we have a problem. I mean, we have a big problem.
Now, I don't want to see Mike Ford anywhere near this team.
No.
I don't even want to see Mike Ford selling fucking peanuts in the stands. Okay. I don't want to see Mike Ford near this team
Near
with
the
his
stadium.
little just
Gotcha
leaning on
again.
his back, thick, the chewing. You can
Gotcha
all
jack.
imagine it. You can all imagine it in his mind where he sticks the bat like right up on the inside of his thigh, kind of leans back,
Yeah.
chewing his gum like he doesn't have a care in the world, fixing the fucking the Velcro on his batting gloves, and then, oops, I struck out, or oops, I popped up to first.
Yeah. I mean, he had some good moments. I was at one of the games he did
You were
have when
that moment.
him
That
and
moment
Gardy,
cursed.
but
That moment cursed Aaron Boone forever. Aaron Boone's been chasing that with Mike Ford ever since he hit
yeah,
that home
he
run.
really has. Yeah.
So again, now we look at Jay Bruce, a guy that is an accomplished slugger in this league. He has played
Lefty.
lefty. He doesn't have a ton of experience at first base. He has 54 career games there. Is he your backup first baseman?
C.
That's
I think so.
just as simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, for me, he is, and one of the reasons why is because his bat off the bench is why he's on the bench, right? Not necessarily to be my backup first baseman. And the only reason I can say that is because we have a guy in the infield. Again, you don't want to move DJ to first, but you can, and he can get the job done, right? So for me, I need a guy, especially a lefty, who has pop, to come off my bench and I know can do damage against the right-handed pitcher. And that's Jay Bruce all day, every day. I need him on my bench. I need him on my bench until I use him enough times and he's not effective and doesn't do anything for me. I need him on my bench. It's his spot to lose, in my opinion.
He was starting at first base for the Mets. I think that was in 2018, right before Pete Alonso came up. They were trying him out, and he was pretty bad. But he's still an offensive piece that I think they'll take his offense for a backup first baseman.
Plus, let's not forget you have a guy at first base who played on one foot and one stub last year, and didn't really miss any time.
I don't think I've seen Bruce in any games at first base this year. Obviously spring training. I'm not really studying box scores right now, but I don't think he's played at first base. I don't know. See, this could all be an argument over nothing because I don't know if the Yankees envision him in that role. I'm just saying, if we're going to realistically break down this bench here, I would oh my God, I just don't want Mike Ford on this team, dude. I don't want him on this team. Oh my God.
Yeah. But I think you make a good point. I think Jay Bruce isn't on this bench as a backup first baseman per se. He's on this bench as a backup fucking pop of a lefty bat, and you can stick him there. He does have some experience there. And Jay Bruce is a veteran, dude. If he needs to fucking start working out first base and he's just going to be a bench guy, he's going to have a lot of time to do that. And he's going to get that done. He's not going to tell you that he'll go there unless he's 100% confident that he could get the job done.
Well, I think the Yankees are going to end up relying on LeMahieu to play a lot of first base in Voigt's absence, and that will give Wade some time at second. Because I don't think you're going to you shouldn't shift Glaber around. You need him to play shortstop. Let him play shortstop. So that should just be that right there.
Think of this real quick. Let's just say you have Jay Bruce as your final guy, and Voigt needs a day, and you start him at first base. The reason why you can do that is because if it's a close game and it's an important game, you can take him out and shift DJ over if need be, and you're feeling a little bit better when the time comes to need to tighten up your defense.
You think Diet Rich makes the team to be the backup first baseman? We've seen that he has experience over there.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at his numbers. I think that would be the debate.
I mean, we did kind of dismiss him.
I don't really know Diet Rich. I don't really know a lot of his history. How many games at first base has he played?
Danny Zuko. Hey,
88, but he
pink
started in
ladies.
64.
Maybe. I mean, maybe. I want Jay Bruce. I want Jay Bruce to lose. I want it to be his job, his spot until he loses it. I want it to be his
6
spot
errors
to
only.
lose. Seriously, I do. Because Jay Bruce, they got him here for a specific reason. The Yankees need a lefty bat off the bench that has pop. You know who
Derek
that guy
Dietrich's
was?
just a
You know
lefty
who that
bench
guy was for the
player
Yankees
off the bat.
last year? You know who that guy was? Mike Ford. Mike Ford, and we saw how that ended.
All right, wait.
Okay?
So
think-
wait. He's played. Oh, never mind. That's the wrong line. In 54 games, he's made 7 errors. That's not bad.
No, that is actually pretty
That's
bad,
terrible
Ryan.
for a first
Compared-
baseman.
I'm comparing it with Dietrich's line, which is 6.
In how
So
many
it's not
games?
like a 64 started.
Eh,
So it's
That's-
not much difference there.
it's
So
like choosing the lesser of two evils.
right.
I think when you're going to evaluate the two, this is what I'll say on it. If you're going to evaluate the two, you're not evaluating on who's more of a liability at this point because they're both going to be at first base. Okay, let's just keep it at that. You're evaluating them on who's going to bring you more value in the role that you need them for. And for me, that's Jay Bruce all day, every day.
Right.
Because
Because
Jay
if you-
Bruce is giving
I
me
agree.
something that this team lacks.
If you're going to have Wade on the team, Wade brings your versatility. And even though maybe Diet Rich has a little bit more pop in the bat, much more competent hitter, he doesn't play shortstop. So you're going to take your versatility guy, and it's going to be Tyler Wade. So now your last spot is going to be for, and this is the way I'm figuring it. The Yankees could do something completely different. The way I'm figuring it, my last spot is first base / left-handed power, and that's got to be Jay Bruce. It cannot be Mike fucking Ford. Okay, it just can't be.
Nah,
right,
it can't be.
Here's
I'd
another.
rather find wherever the fuck Jason Giambi is and bring his saggy tit ass over here, because you know that's what happens after you stop doing steroids. I can't imagine he's still doing roids at this point in his life. I'd rather bring him back and have him be the fucking backup first baseman / lefty power than Mike Ford. Okay, I'd rather it be Jason Giambi at fucking 50 with fucking, no more needles in his ass than it'd be Mike Ford. Is that fair? Am I off base on saying that? No, I don't really think so.
All right, so here's what I'll say to follow up with what you just said. When you look at the middle infield,
Mike Ford's our biggest fan, by the way.
when you need a bench guy, when you need a bench guy for your middle infield, and you look at the two guys who are at our middle infield, you're not using that bench spot for a guy to pinch hit or to hit.
Right.
Right? You're using it for a guy defensively or a guy who needs a day off. So I don't care that he's a more competent hitter than Tyler Wade, Diet Rich. I don't care that he's a more competent hitter than Tyler Wade at that point, because I'm not using that position necessarily for a competent hitter. I'm using that bench spot for a guy who I know is solid on defense and is solid on either side of second base. And that's Tyler Wade. So that's where he loses at that point.
Right. And maybe you might want to give Voit a day against a right-hander that eats him up, and that's where Jay Bruce would come in.
Right.
Yep.
So I don't know. To me, the bench, if I'm making the decisions, and again, the Yankees can do 100 different things that we're not even thinking about, but to me, the bench is going to be Higashioka, it's going to be Tyler Wade, it's going to be Brett Gardner, and it's going to be Jay Bruce, and that leaves off a lot of, I guess, quote, big names. You're looking at guys like Mike Tauchman and Miguel Andujar, and even, a non-roster invitee that a lot of fans want on the team like Diet Rich. They're not going to make this team.
Yeah.
And I didn't mention Mike Ford because fuck him. I don't want him on the team. anymore.
Chirinos, Robinson Chirinos.
Right. But I think Chirinos took this contract knowing he wasn't going to make the team unless there's an injury.
Mhm.
I think Dietrich and Andujar and even Tauchman figured they would be in the mix. So, all right. So last week, and I did this all fucked up because I put the show together really late, and the idea for the over-unders came to me late in the day. So really what we should have did was run the polls and then give our opinions on the over-unders. We did it backwards this year. We did it on the show, and then we ran the polls. So kind of have to do 2 segments on it now. I just want to briefly go over how the fans voted. Have you guys been on Twitter? Have you seen how the voting broke down?
Some of them, I feel.
I know that a lot of them were very polarized polls. Like, I know most of them were either mostly majority for a positive result. That's all I really know. I don't know specifics.
All right. So anyway, we'll just go down the list here, and we'll recap here. So the first one was Garrett Cole over under 3.17 ERA. We all took the under. The fans voted 80% under, which I thought was a really low vote on the fans' part. That I know 20% is still
compared to the other
overwhelming.
ones you're about to read. It was lower than we expected.
All right. So then we'll move on here. Corey Kluber over under 65 innings pitched. We all took the over. The fans voted 91% to take the over. I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah.
Because you're never going to hit 100% on anything.
No.
You could literally post a poll, should child molesters be fucking locked away forever?
And
you'll
sell
get
some asshole.
You're like, no, they need to be rehabilitated. Anyway, so we got Jamison Tyone over under 3.94 ERA. We all took the under. The fans voted 73% to take the under,
which is actually high. No, if you think about when we debated to go over under, we said how spot on that prediction could be.
Right, which is why I'm surprised it's not closer in that 50-50 range.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were going to say you were surprised it wasn't more. I was going to say that 73 really plays as like a 90 because of how close that was.
Right. So we got DJ LeMahieu over under 297 on the batting average. You and I, Chris and me, took over. Ryan hates DJ LeMahieu, took under. 89% of the fans voted on the over. So Ryan has that many burner accounts that he got 11% of the vote.
Well,
impressive.
You know,
it's impressive.
I'm looking at it more of his batting average is going to go down, but I think his home run numbers are going to go up a little bit. It's going to be like
you were very.
Balance,
I think you gave a very rational.
Yeah, and I don't like that trade
decision as to why you went with the under. So yeah, I think it could definitely happen.
And we'll break this down more in a week or two when we break down the. When we give like our lineups, part of me wants LeMahieu lower in the lineup, but I think he kind of should stay as the leadoff hitter.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, so we'll move on to Aaron Judge here. Over under 22 home runs. We all took the over. The fans took 93% on the over.
That's good.
So and then we had somebody actually reply, the under is easy money on this one.
What was that one?
On the Aaron Judge over under 22 home runs. Somebody said the under was easy money.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Hope not.
All right. You better hope not. We're in a lot of trouble if Aaron Judge doesn't hit 22 home runs this year.
That's not a lot of dinks.
All right. Gleyber Torres, 68 runs batted in. Everybody took the over, including the fans, 95%. Giancarlo Stanton, and this surprised the hell out of me. 84 games played. We Chris and I took the under. SGR took the over. And the fans voted 65% on the over.
Wow.
So fans,
that was good. Close though. That was close.
Fans, but 65-35.
That's sad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so sad. Like that should be the closest one to the over.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Right. So this one was like we said with Tyone's ERA, this was another really good one. Luke Voit, 33 home runs. We all took the under. The fans in a narrow margin voted 52% on the over for Luke Voit.
Oh, look at that.
Nice. This optimism you threw out there, Christian, this positive thinking is really flowing, and people are feeling it, and they're picking it up, and they're absorbing it, and they're putting it back out there to other people. And I like.
And do you know proof of that? Do you want to hear the proof of that?
Let me hear it.
Gary Sanchez over under 207 batting average. We all took the over, and overwhelmingly the fans voted 84% to take the over on the 207 batting
Yes.
average.
Boom.
Let's go.
Not
All
asking
right,
for a
Gio.
lot, Gary.
No, really not.
Yeah,
Seriously.
really. Again,
And I-
another sad.
You set your
fucking
bar
poll.
very low, Gar. Thanks.
And you know what, dude? Like we say, we're not going to take a lot out of spring training, but today, runner on first, he's got the hole in between first and second. What does Gary do? Shoots the ball through the hole. Fucking loved it.
Listen, spring training is all bullshit except for the guys that you need to see perform. And that includes sometimes like pitchers who are coming back, like a Kluber, right? You want to see him look good and look somewhat effective, and you know he's still working on it. But it's more important to guys like Gary Sanchez because we said it ourselves. It's mostly mental with him. And if you can start in spring training by hitting some dings, poking the ball in big spots, that carries right into the regular season, and you ride that fucking wave, baby.
And unless your name is Greg Bird, because he used to rip it up in
Correct.
spring and then he'd fall apart.
Are you big in are you a clutch guy in October? No. I'm clutch in
March. I'm Mr.
I'm
March.
big in March.
What about during
Mr.
the regular
March.
season? No, that's usually when I'm recovering
Yeah.
from an injury. I usually
Yeah.
play so hard in March.
I got turf towel.
And as we said, number of times with Gary, Gary should not hit the ball line to line. Visionist in my brain here, not line to line. Gary should hit the ball gap to gap. And when he pokes the ball through the first and second base hole, when the first baseman's holding on the runner, that's a great fucking sign from Gary Sanchez.
It is, because that means one thing, that Gary got up there with something when he's
What's that magic
struggling,
word? What's
when
that
he's-
magic word?
Please stop getting that close to the microphone.
Yeah, dude.
When he is struggling, there's one thing missing from Gary Sanchez, and that is approach.
There you
And
go.
when you
The
can poke
A-word.
that ball to a place where you know no one is, that's called an approach. And that is the sign of a good hitter.
Because you don't always need to hit the ball 400 feet.
Correct.
Sometimes smacking one. All right, so we got a couple more here. We'll just go over. Gio Urshela, 19 home runs. We all took the under. The fans like the over at 59% for Gio
It's that positive
Urshela.
thinking, baby.
And I texted this guys to you, and it finished. There was one poll that finished with what would be considered the negative outcome, and it's fucking
know.
Aaron Hicks.
Oh yeah, Hicks.
Aaron Hicks, 128 games played. We all took the under, and the fans took the under at 60%.
We don't blame
and the-
you. If you were going to
We-
pick one guy to give the negative outcome,
Right,
1 out of
and
12.
And the final one, Clint Frazier, 19 home runs. Everybody likes the over. The fans at 75%. So there you go.
Nice.
Aaron Hicks.
Fred.
Somebody should write.
You got
Aaron-
Fred.
So we ran 12 over under polls. 11 of them took the positive outcome, and fucking Aaron Hicks.
Get his ass off the team.
All right.
Yeah.
So we got a couple more things to hit here today. Do we have a couple more things, or just?
I
one
think we
more
have
thing?
one. You said you
Uno
had a hot
mas.
take. There was a hot take on Twitter you wanted to discuss before we wrap up.
Actually, no. I want to put this on record here, and then we'll get to Twitter before we wrap up. Use your brains. If you want me to do Twitter and get back to you guys, we can do that. Yeah, I want you to go on record here and give me your one positive, not Gary Sanchez is going to hit 138 this year. I want your one positive Yankees player hot take for the 2021 season. Do you want me to do Twitter and then come back to you guys, or
No.
do you want to give it to me now?
No, I want to give it to you now,
All right,
but
so
I want just ask me that question one more time.
what is your one positive Yankees player hot take for the 2021 season?
Okay, right. Can you go first?
I mean, dude, I think that they're going to be healthy this year. If that's a hot take. But as far as an individual performance, I really see a guy stepping up and having a bounce back year, and that's Gleyber Torres. Because if you look up his numbers towards the end of last season, I mean, I think he was hitting 321, or he had really, really good numbers the final like 20 or so games of the year. when Cashman said he kind of got back into shape. So I think a full season for Gleyber Torres, he's really going to shine, and his defense isn't going to be a problem this year. I see him being a
But
major
give me the
contributor.
what's the hot take? MVP, top 5 finish. He's going to win the World Series. Give me the hot take, though, right? Give me the hot take.
Comeback player of the year, Corey Kluber.
Corey Kluber, comeback player of the year. Chris, you got your pen out? Write this down.
I got it.
Could you do that for me, please?
Yeah. This is cool, actually. It's actually fascinating. I know you don't understand this, but when we do these shows, they're recorded on the internet and they don't go anywhere. So, like, worst case scenario, we just listen to the show and then we have the answer.
Listen, you dirty slut. For most of the time I'm listening to this show, I'm listening to it when I'm driving the car and I can't write it down. So I need to rely on one of you two that have a full desk in front of you and not a fucking kindergartner's table to write this down.
Go to IKEA, dude. It fucking takes 2 minutes. Go to IKEA, build a desk.
Well,
bada
if
bing,
if I didn't
bada
have
boom.
high risk people living in my house, I could have one of you over here to help me clear out the fucking basement.
Soon, bro.
Bro.
Soon the shit's gonna be good to go, and I'll come help you.
And then I can have a whole fucking setup down there. But anyway,
we'll fucking set you up.
so Ryan, hot take, Corey Kluber, comeback player of the year.
Yeah,
Chris.
come on, Klubes.
Ready for mine?
Yes, I did. I'm ready. Let's go.
I kind of have 2, dude.
I want one.
All right, I'm gonna give you my one that's not really a hot take, like it's not a definitive hot take.
Do you listen?
I just want to say something. I'm flip-flopping.
Okay.
I'm flip-flopping. Remember when we had our debates on who's going to be the number 2 to fill the shoes of Garrett Cole? I'm going to preface this by saying I have not watched Tyone pitch. I do not know his numbers right now in spring training. I have not had the time to really look. So it has nothing to do with anything he's done in spring training. But I'm switching my decision. I think that not only will he be the number 2, he will be Garrett Cole and him will be the most deadly 1 and 2 in all of baseball in 2021.
I like that take.
Okay, that's not going to be my hot. This is going to be my hot take where I'm really sticking my neck out there. Brett Gardner.
Oh God.
It might not be in the postseason, or it could be.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a shot that puts them either into the postseason or carries them through a series. He will have one big moment, walk-off home run, a huge diving play in the outfield, and you'll say that the Yankees don't win the World Series or go as far as they did if it weren't for Brett Gardner.
So the defining moment of the season will be held by Brett Gardner.
The defining moment of the season, if you can pinpoint it down to one thing, not just the big picture, just one thing, it will be Brett Gardner. It will be just all Brett Gardner in that moment.
All right, so Stat Guy Rise got the Klubot winning the comeback player of the year. Chris says that Gardy will have the defining. When you look back at when you watch the 2021 Yankees World Series DVD, they're all going to talk about this play, this hit that Brett Gardner made.
Like I envision it like this. Let me be a little more. I envision it. I'm going to actually say it because I don't think it'll be close where the Yankees aren't going to make the playoffs. So I'll stick my neck out even further. Say it will be a big playoff game, but I envision it in like the Yankees are up 3, 2 games to nothing or 2 games to 1 or something in the World Series, and they're starting to fall back, and things could get nasty, and Gardner comes up in a huge fucking spot, hits like a walk-off home run, and just from there the Yankees don't look back. Something like that, where you're just going to say, if it weren't for Brett Gardner, they don't make it to where they did. That's my hot take. It will be Brett Gardner.
I don't know how much of a hot take this is, but this is the take I'm sticking with, and I'm going with Aaron Judge is going to play a full, healthy season, and he's going to win. Listen to me. He's going to win the fucking American League MVP award. Boom.
Aaron Judge.
Aaron Judge.
All right. I love it.
All right. So we just did what we asked was the Twitter question of the week. What's your one positive Yankees player hot take for the season? So we'll just go through it. Don Sicario, his hot take is that Kluber and Gary will throw some shutouts together this year.
I like it. I like
All
that.
right. And here's a very recurring theme amongst amongst the replies we got. I love this guy's fucking handle at Get Off My Lawn Season.
Nice.
SZN. He says Clint Frazier is going to be in the All-Star game this year. So there's one.
Okay,
Ooh, I like
that.
that take.
That's a good one.
At Charlie Ricker says Aaron Hicks is going to rebound, be healthy, and have an on-base percentage right around 400.
That's a
How
good
about
take.
How about this one? At Yankees _28, we will have 3 legit Cy Young candidates in Cole Kluber and Tyone this year.
Dude, let me tell you something. You want to talk about sticking your fucking neck out there for something that's like
Yeah.
kind of crazy but could happen? That's a good one. I fucking love that one, man.
Here's Frankie's Too Loud. Tyone might be the trade we talk about for years to come. His pedigree, health issues in the past, relationship with Cole, them training, etc., is going to pay off huge. I think
Did
really
he spell
big,
with a Y or an H?
huge.
Huge.
I think really big things are coming because of it. So,
Dude, Frankie, I got to say, man, I agree with you 100% on that one.
K Combine 33, Glaber will bounce back and play at an MVP level, win the Gold Glove, and the Yankees are winning the World Series this year.
Wow. Go
Wow.
too.
And here,
There we go.
you want to hear the hottest take of all hot
Let
takes?
me fucking hear the hottest
You want to
one.
hear the
I'm
hottest takes
fucking
of all
pumped up
hot,
right now. I'm
hot
pumped
takes
up.
right now? At Drew Wickman, Gary Sanchez will strike out less than 50% of the time this year. The hottest of the hot takes.
Boom.
And here we'll end it here with our boy at Stadium Status. I got a double. Torres and Frazier, both perennial all-stars, going to the all-star game this year. Glaber's making less than 10 errors and is going to win the World Series MVP and locking down the spot as the best shortstop in New York. So he basically said, fuck you, Francisco.
Here's my hot take on Stadium Status, our boy. Here's my hot take. You know those stories where like the wife cuts off the husband's junk when they get too angry? My hot take is if he doesn't cut the bullshit with Gloria, you're going to be in the newspaper. Maybe even have a headline on the actual news. You better settle down.
Yeah.
Cuz she's not putting up with it.
That's why we need a 1998 style season here, because all our wives just need a nice, easy season from us. And then we look up,
Do the Yankees understand how much they'd improve the world
by
if
they won 100?
Having
if the Yankees
an easy
win,
season?
Yeah, easy season, win 114.
How much better of people will be for our communities, for our families?
When the most stress we have is when the Yankees are tied 2-2 in the ALCS, and then they win 6 straight after that.
No, you know what they're doing to us? You know what they've been doing to us? They've been doing like the DJ LeMahieu fucking 9th inning, whatever inning it was, home run.
Right,
and
the
then
9th inning tying home run. Yeah.
They're like sending us up and down and up, and then it just makes us worse. You got to just take us all the way through now.
You remember the episode of How I Met Your Mother when I think it was in the first season when they rent the limo for New Year's Eve, and
it's the mixtape.
And Barney, and they started off with Shot Through the Heart by Bon Jovi. And Barney's like, no, it needs to be all rise all the time.
Yes.
That's what we need this season to be.
Rise.
All rise. See how
all the time.
See how he tied that into all rise. Here comes the judge. All rise all the time. That's it. Now, I'm not asking. I don't think that's asking for a lot. I really don't.
Baby. That's fucking it.
But honestly, dude, Drew Wickman, the fucking balls on that dude. Gary will strike out less than 50% of the time. Wow. He had the balls. That's
gutsy.
Ballsy right
there.
That's ballsy right there.
Ballsy. Got some balls. You got some big balls. All right. We got to finish up, dude. My fucking kids, they slept by Uncle Ryan's house last night, and they're fucking maniacs right now.
Yeah, Ryan, instead of like,
stayed up all night.
Instead of time for bed, Ryan's like, here's this Red Bull.
That's it.
We did. We shotgunned some bowls.
My kid's eyes are bloodshot from 2 hours of sleep.
Okay.
We party. It's his birthday. You know, he only turned 4 once.
That's it.
Right. The little dumpster. What do I call him? The dirt monger's 4 years old. So happy birthday to little Jack there.
Yeah, happy birthday, Jack.
All right. So thank you very much for listening to episode 217 of the NYYST podcast. Please follow us on Twitter at NYY Sports Talk. Go to nysportstalk.com/shop. We got the shirts up there. Frazier, Matsui, and Aaron Judge, the Sterling Silhouette Series, the first 3 shirts, NYYST Pod will save you 30% and free shipping. You're going to get these fucking shirts for $21.
I'll tell you what.
Paulo Neal.
I'll tell you what. If you DM us that you want all 3, I'll give you the 30% and free shipping, and I'll give you one of the shirts for free. You buy 2, get the 3rd free, but you got to DM us at NYY Sports Talk.
DM us.
Wow.
Okay, and then I'll hook you up with the deal. I'll send you a special link.
That's a deal.
So starting, and then I'm just going to say this. You got to listen to the fucking show, guys. Got to listen to the show. We're going to run a special. I'm going to run a little contest here. I'm going to run a little contest. You're going to, and the winner's going to get to pick which one of the Sterling shirts that they want. We can wait until Jeter and Glaber come out if you want, or you can just pick it from one of the 3. But you got to listen to the show. Just like we ran the contest about a month ago. Winner gets a fucking DJ jersey. And then nobody, you don't listen, you enter the contest, you know you got to listen to the show to win, and then you never hit me back.
That's it.
Oh, and speaking of DMs.
You done fucked up.
Speaking of DMs, you know how many DMs I got that people had problems with me this week? Guess how many I got? Guess how many I got after I made
3.
my impassioned plea. If you had a problem with me, to DM me. Guess how many I got this week? 0.
Open your eyes.
0.
What movie?
Open your eyes.
Open your eyes.
What? I don't know.
Sixth Sense. I don't know.
No,
The Shining.
Vanilla Sky. Vanilla Sky.
Nobody
Okay.
watched that shit.
What are you doing?
You fucking weirdo.
Open your eyes.
All right, close your eyes, go to bed. Thank you for listening to this to episode 217 in the NYYST podcast. SGR.
Go Yanks.
Wow, you really let that one rip there for a minute, Ryan.
I let it
burn.
rip, dude. I'm letting it rip today.
You had to milk your 3 seconds, huh?
That's it.
Hey, I take it as I got it.
All right, Chris, say goodbye.
Peace.